Hello my dear students. Today we will learn about adaptations in leaf. We know that the leaves are the site of photosynthesis and there the food preparation is taking place. So the leaves have several adaptation to carry out this process, that is photosynthesis. So now we can discuss about the adaptations in leaves to carry out photosynthesis. Adaptation. First one is large surface area. Large surface area means the exposed surface will be more for capturing or for trapping maximum amount of sunlight. So first one is large surface area. Flat thin leaf we can see in many plants. That surface area, the lamina portion will be more to capture maximum amount of sunlight. And in some case, in case of pine tree, the needle shaped leaves we can see, needle shaped leaves. That needle shaped leaves is for reducing transpiration. Okay, in our surrounding we can see the leaves, surface area will be more, that is for capturing maximum amount of sunlight. The next one is arrangement of leaf. Arrangement of leaf, the leaves are arranged right angle to each other. Mainly in case of, one example is in case of Ixora. We can see that the leaves are arranged right angle to each other. So all the leaves will get maximum amount of sunlight. If they are arranging like this, all the leaves will equally exposed to the sunlight. So that also it will help the leaves to trap a maximum amount of sunlight. Next one is thinness of leaf. Very thin leaf. Okay, for making the translocation easy. And this leaves will be very thin. Then the cuticle, transparent cuticle and epidermis. So for the easy entry of sunlight into the cells, the cuticles will be transparent. You know that what is cuticle? On the top portion of the epidermis there will be coating. One layer will be there, that is cuticle. That will be transparent and very thin for the easy entry of sunlight into the cell. Next one is extensive vein system for translocation of food material and translocation of water and minerals. Extensive vein system. Here we can see that extensive, in case of Ixora is this one, and usually in all the plants there will be extensive vein system. Vein system means vein, veinlets, midrib, everything will be well developed for the easy translocation of water and minerals, and also the prepared food material to different parts of the plant. And we can see numerous stomata. Numerous stomata. What is the use of stomata during photosynthesis? Numerous stomata we can see for the easy diffusion of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is one of the raw material. So for the easy diffusion of carbon dioxide there will be more amount of stomata. Then chloroplast. Chloroplast will be, we can see more chloroplast concentrate on the upper part of the leaf. That is upper and lower portion of the leaf. Listen, this is the upper part of the leaf, and this is the lower part. When we compare this two, we can see more amount of chloroplast here. Okay, and very less amount of chloroplast. When compared with this upper portion, there will be less amount of chloroplast, because this upper part is exposed to sunlight. So this chloroplast want to capture maximum amount of sunlight. That's why they are concentrating on the top portion of the leaf, that is mainly below the upper epidermis, more concentration of chloroplast. So these are the adaptations of leaf for carrying out the process of photosynthesis. Then next one is the products of photosynthesis. You know that what are the products of photosynthesis? Water, glucose and oxygen. Water. What happened to this water? Only very few amount of water is used for photosynthesis. The remaining water is transpired, that is it undergo transpiration, it loss into the atmosphere, it evaporate into atmosphere by the process of transpiration. So very less amount of water is used, and the water produced after the photosynthesis, it is utilized by the plant, and many of the water are transpired out. Okay, a very few amount of water is again used for the process of photosynthesis, and it is transferred out. It undergo transpiration. Then oxygen. Oxygen diffuses out through the stomata into the atmosphere. This oxygen is used by all other living organism for their survival. Then next one is food material. Food material, we know that in the form of glucose, plants produce food material. These food materials, the prepared food materials, will not transport into a different part of the plant at the same rapidity. Immediately after the production of food, the plants cannot transport into different parts of the plant. Mainly during night, this translocation is taking place. This glucose will convert it into soluble sucrose, and in the form of sucrose, this translocation is taking place, and this food material will transport into different parts of the plant, mainly into the storage organ. And in fruits and in different parts of the plant, this food material will store in the form of insoluble starch, as in case of potato. This glucose is stored in the form of insoluble starch, and in case of tapioca, we can see the storage part will consist of insoluble starch. So these are the fate of this end product of photosynthesis. Oxygen will liberate out, water will transpire out, and some will used for photosynthesis, and the food materials will translocate into other part of the plant for storage, and they will use for their life process. So these are the end result of the product of photosynthesis. Next one, factors affecting photosynthesis. Factors affecting photosynthesis, there are external and internal factors. External factor means environmental conditions, and internal factor means the internal structure, the structural factors. First we can discuss about the external factors, that is environmental factors. First one is light intensity. Maybe you will think that if light intensity is more, photosynthesis rate also will be more. To some extent it is true. When light intensity is increased, the photosynthesis rate will be increased with the increase of light intensity up to a certain limit. After that particular limit, if again we are increasing the light intensity, it will reduce, because at high light intensity the chlorophyll will destroy. So to some extent, to a certain limit, the photosynthesis rate will increase to a certain limit. Up to a certain limit, if we increase the amount of light intensity, photosynthesis rate also will increase. But after a certain limit, if we again increase the light intensity, it will adversely affect the rate of photosynthesis. And in your textbook you can see one graphical representation at 0.02, that at that point the photosynthesis rate become stable, and at that point if we are giving more amount of carbon dioxide, next one, carbon dioxide is one of the raw material, so if we are increasing the amount of concentration of carbon dioxide, the rate will be more. If their plants are getting more carbon dioxide, photosynthesis rate also will be more, and to a certain limit, that is 0.05, again the photosynthesis became stable. Okay, later it won't increase. So the up to all the factors need in an optimum level. If its amount become more, it will adversely affect the photosynthesis. Then next one is temperature. We know that a number of enzymes are playing an important role in the process of photosynthesis, for light reaction, dark reaction, and also for carbon fixation, that is Calvin cycle, carbon dioxide fixation. So all these enzymes need an optimum temperature for their proper functioning. If the temperature is too high, that is 35 degrees Celsius is the optimum temperature for the proper functioning of the enzymes. 35 degrees Celsius. And at 40 degrees Celsius or above 40 degrees Celsius, enzymes will destroy. So that will adversely affect the rate of photosynthesis. And an increase of 10 degrees Celsius to a maximum temperature, like if we are increasing temperature, the temperature of the experimental setup from the 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, or from the 22 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius, that is 10 degrees Celsius increase. We can see here, if you are increasing this temperature 10 degrees Celsius, it will double the rate of photosynthesis. It should be below the maximum level. Okay, so 40 degrees Celsius is the upper limit. If we are increasing the temperature above 40 degrees Celsius, it will stop photosynthesis, because enzymes which are helping in photosynthesis will destroy. So without enzyme, the process of photosynthesis will not take place. So proper, that is optimum amount of, the optimum temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. Then above 40 or at 40 degrees Celsius, enzymes will destroy, so the rate of the photosynthesis also will stop. Then water content. If the soil don't have enough water, or if the transpiration rate is more, the rate of photosynthesis will be very less. That rate of photosynthesis will reduce. So these are the 4 factors. First one, latent density. It is necessary, but if it is more, it will adversely affect the photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide amount also. If we are giving more carbon dioxide up to a certain limit, it will increase. Later it will stabilize. That is, it will remain constant. Then temperature. Temperature 35 degrees Celsius is the optimum temperature. At 40 degrees Celsius or above 40 degrees Celsius, the enzymes responsible for the photosynthesis will destroy. That will adversely affect the photosynthesis. That is, photosynthesis rate will reduce. The next one is water content. Water content is important one. If the soil don't have enough water, or if the transpiration rate is high, the photosynthesis rate will decrease. Next one is internal factors. These are the internal factors which are affecting the photosynthesis: chlorophyll, protoplasm, and structure of leaf. Chlorophyll. We know that nutrients, that's mineral nutrients, are essential for the proper growth of plants. If any mineral nutrients are deficient, nutrient deficiency, so that will affect the chlorophyll synthesis, and it will lead to the disintegration of the already produced chlorophyll. So as a result, the chlorophyll deficiency will be there, and if chlorophyll is absent, the plants cannot trap solar light or sunlight. So gradually the plant loses its capacity to trap sunlight. It will adversely affect the rate of photosynthesis. Then next one is protoplasm. Dehydration of protoplasm will reduce the rate of transpiration. So protoplasm is a living material. Enough amount of water is necessary for the proper functioning of the protoplasm. If it undergo dehydration, it will affect the rate of photosynthesis, and also if any sugar or starch accumulated in the protoplasm, that also affect the rate of photosynthesis. That is, it will reduce the rate of photosynthesis. Next one is structure of leaf. Structure of leaf, while discussing the adaptation of leaves for photosynthesis, we already discussed one. The surface area of the leaf, and the arrangement of stomata, and the thinness of the leaf, and the structure of leaf, the arrangement of leaf, all these things are important for the effective functioning of leaf. All these characteristic features are important for photosynthesis. So these plants have to collect or trap a maximum amount of sunlight for performing the function of photosynthesis. So their arrangement and structure also will be support the process of photosynthesis, because the leaf will be very thin, and the surface area will be more more chloroplast we can see on the upper surface of the leaf and more stomata on the lower surface. Okay, to reduce transpiration, and many, that is more stomata also we can see for the easy diffusion of carbon dioxide. So these are the internal factors which affect the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, so these are the factors, internal and external factors. All these factors are important one. Maybe give reason type question, and also for answer the following, explain the internal factors or explain the external factors, that also you have to study. So before the next class you have to read the experimental setup, and one more portion is the nitrogen cycle. That is an easy topic that we can discuss during the live session. Okay, study well. So that's all for today. We can see in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.